Hey guys, so yesterday at Skyfox Games, I was at OTS Championships. I finished top 4. I was undefeated in Swiss for that one, but lost out in top 4. Shout out to Raul for Dragon Link, cooked my ass. But today, unfortunately, I had another OTS Championship. Didn't do as well today, unfortunately, but I think the potential was there. I basically kind of lost it out just at the end, so I guess we'll just get right to the list. Unfortunately, it is kind of like rogue level at this point. It's nowhere near what it was, but you know what, still can be pretty good. 3 Albas, 3 Luber. Double Quem, I was originally thinking of cutting 1 Quem for a Maximus. The problem was, I mean, I don't know, it's okay, because I upped the Nadir servant to 3. I just felt that I preferred to just have a second Quem instead. But you can try a Maximus. It kind of depends. It's not as bad as it once was, because before you had like decks like Kashira, like Thunder Labyrinth, like they all kind of benefited from the extra deck. Not nearly as much nowadays, but just some things to consider. 1 Tragedy, that's normal. I wish I could play Adlib, or I mean you can, but I think with the gimmick log, I don't really get to that line anyways. Double Cartesia, you definitely need 2. 1 Shrouded Dragon, self-explanatory. Actually, 1 Random Time was weird. This was on the field for some reason, and I actually was able to summon Lebellion off of it, because you can also put this to grave for that, so very rare, but does come up. Lebellion, speaking of Lebellion, Serenier, I actually decided to main deck 1 Magma as well. This is kind of good because it adds Dragon, so you can actually add, it doesn't have to be a Bestial, it could even be something like, you know, Fallen of Albas, Shrouded Dragon, just for your follow-up. Gimmick Puppet, because, you know, it's pretty good. Dark Magician for Dragoon, I still think it's kind of needed. I do think, especially like going second, it also provides a way to kind of win in time as well. Going second, unfortunately, is unfortunate that is. And then I decided to main Nibiru. Originally it was, you know, Droll, before it was Ash, because that's more generic, but I decided one of the downsides with this deck is sometimes you kind of brick, it kind of loses itself. At least it is a light monster you can kind of summon off of Granule with Cartesia, with Nibiru. That's obviously not ideal, you're probably not in a good situation, but if that means it's your only way access to Branded Fusion, perhaps it is worth it. And also, in the case that you just kind of pass on a Luber or you get Ash, whatever, you know, at least it's kind of like a bomb and you might be able to actually survive that turn after you pass. Going on to the spells, we have 3 Branded Fusion, self-explanatory, 3 Branded Opening, also self-explanatory. Branded Loss, I was almost thinking of trying to play Branded Regain as well, just because it's such a nice grind game material, but at the same time, I think, you know, on its own, it's obviously not doing anything. This deck kind of loses to itself already because it can be clunky. Branded Red, High Spirits. I really like High Spirits. I think most people probably don't play it. I do find, especially when you get Ashed, it can survive. You can actually have some ways, you know, especially if you have Albas in this can be pretty good, sending that Albion. Triple Deployment, this also fusion locks you, which is unfortunate. We also have 3 Nadir. I used to play 2. I decided, you know what, like in the case I get Ashed, I really need to have some form of backup, and that's one of the things with Maximus. Maximus can be great, but I also feel that, you know, with just like sending like getting access to Quem, and also let's say you send Lulu and you get direct access to Cartesia, it can potentially help you gimmick lock still depending on the situation. 1 Talent, this card is not nearly as good in Branded Despia, and the reason for that is going second, if you were to take your opponent's monster, this is not a deck where you can just link things away, so that really sucks. The draw effect also is not very good in this deck, because if you went first, you got Ash on Branded Fusion, you use this to draw 2. Realistically, you still cannot use Branded Fusion anyways because got Ash. The best draw would be like Nadir and Fusion deploying, but other than that, draw effect's not very good. Thrust, this is to set the Fusion duplication, helps you survive past Ash, and also just going second, you know, getting talents. Perhaps it's a deal breaker or game ender. Call by the Grave, Gold Sark, and also Foolish helps you for some consistency, and this is of course for Ash. Triple Super Poly. This, you know what? It's funny. Unintentionally, it was good against Centurion. Not that I was actually preparing for it because I didn't know too much about that matchup. But they do have light, so this can be really good. And just, you know, especially when you go first and you didn't open very well or you got Ash, this can help you potentially survive. And lastly, Fusion Deployment, Branded Retribution. I'm playing the 1 Imperm. This is just something, again, something perhaps you search off Thrust, but it's just there essentially, especially if you were to somehow hard draw this as well, and your Thrust can also have at least something else as well, but this card is very, very good. Moving on to the extra deck, we have 1 Granule. I wish I could play 2, but realistically there's never any space. The only reason you would need 2 is like just to really ensure gimmick lock, but again, you don't want to pivot too hard on that. Double Albion, again, self-explanatory. 1 Lebellion, double Mirror Jade. This is all standard, same with the Sanctifier for gimmick lock. This one's kind of a new addition. I was playing Sprint before. I do think this is really good because it can summon Quam or Albaz in the end phase, and like you can freeze away your opponent's monster, for example, with Albaz. And this is at least something that you can send off of Mirror Jade as well, unlike Lulu. We do have Rimbrum. Really, you don't really summon it, but that banish effect's nice. Guardian Chimera is also pretty good for the pops. Mud Dragon, Super Poly targets, Garura, Despia, Dragoon, of course, and we are still playing the Lulu. This is where it can be cuttable. Like for example, you know, the Ash Dragon and this can be kind of like redundant sometimes, but I do think off Nadir Servant, sometimes I really want that direct access to Cartesia on the field, so that can be really nice. I was also trying out SP in terms of like turn 3 grind game. I mean, I guess you could try it, like for example, like very problematic cards like Baguska, Grave the Super Ancient Organism, but Grave, like no one's really playing that anymore. Baguska, you just kind of like essentially grind it out. So for now, I also have to put Cordis. That can also be pretty good, and I think that would put that over SP right now. And finally onto the side, I decided to just side Ash. This is for, you know, Labyrinth, very key. I really wanted to main deck this. I couldn't find space. Against random builds, that's also good. Triple Droll, you kind of need it for a lot of matchups. The one Dark Ruler, one Hell Risk for Pearly, Lightning Storm. Feathers, so lots of 1-0s just for like that, you know, essentially thrust as well and going second. Double evenly. And I actually decided to play 3, there can be only 1, and that's because I was playing Zombie World with Banshee. The problem was, if I got Shifter against Thunder, I can't actually get to Zombie World because, you know, the Banshee would get banished. So this can be still good against Thunder, not nearly as good as Zombie World, but still does it. It's also good against, you know, Dragon Link, and actually good against Labyrinth as well, so it can come up. And also Unchained, of course. So, anyways, that was it for the profile. Again, definitely a huge shout out to all the stores that hosted the tournaments. Big thanks to all of you for watching. Big thanks to Dane for filming for me. And take care.